Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akil Jabbar, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we'll be talking about reinventing workforce health management in the MedTech SaaS space. Today, we have our guest, Benjamin Crevant, joining us. Benjamin is the co-founder and CEO of MedTech, a compliant tool for companies to manage health data, medical checkups, and remote medical sites worldwide. They offer predictive analysis and insights relevant to the activity and their employees' health. And after more than 8 years working around the globe, gaining management and entrepreneurship skills, Ben decided to go back to Europe where he and his co-founder, Laurent, reinvented how companies can manage their team resilience and bring healthcare to workers and companies. So welcome, Benjamin. Super excited to have you on the SaaS District show today.
Hi, Kiel. Thanks a lot. Really nice to be here.
No worries. So let's talk about MedTech. I mean, why are MedTech services so important to a business? You know, their continuity. How can it avoid issues, right? I mean, big things like insurance costs, pressure for employees, and obviously a lot of health problems that are happening in the world today.
Yeah, as I say, we live really in a crazy world. We just seen it. You're in Americas, back in Europe. We can now discuss easily. It's part of the business that was not so easy like 3 years ago. The COVID was a big slap worldwide. And so companies, they just noticed with the COVID that finally, the workforce, all the staff you have is the main assets of your company. Mm-hmm. And so finally, they just understood with the COVID, okay, we don't have any very, let's say, tools, process, or just targets about, okay, how do we manage the workforce health? Which is basically something really very important. They didn't have the tool to do it. So I won't say MedTech is not that important for companies. It's really the way they understood they have to manage their workforce health at its best, and the benefits or impact depends the way you take it. It can be huge. The first one is the employees themselves. It's a shift. It's maybe 5 years ago we are in the shift. Now they have the power. The employee is the one to choose. The company is the one to be empowered with almost everything. And then they're saying and selecting a company about how can you really take care of me? How will you take care of my data? How will you take care of my medical checkups? What are the benefits you will offer me? So now employers, they have to turn and say, okay, we need to offer something. It's not kind of other greenwashing. We need to do it seriously. The other point is business continuity. It's, let's say, management resilience as its basics. They have to be resilient in this world. And to be resilient, you just need to have this business continuity. And when we've seen with the COVID, half of your workforce is sick and out of the office, just impossible. So this is the way. It's kind of, you have to do it. It was a kind of eye-opener. And the last one is about cost management. Like always, the companies, or let's say organizations worldwide, they need to manage their costs. They need to manage their absence, everybody out of the office for sick reasons. They could have predicted, and they could have put measures to reduce the impact for the employees and later on the company. But as well about the insurance. When you look at the prices of the premiums, companies worldwide are paying to cover their employees' health and this risk. Mm-hmm. The inflation is like 7 to 8% a year, when the overall, let's say, economy inflation is like 2.5%. It's kind of times 3. So for companies, it's a matter of resilience. They want to be the next one to be up. You have to take care of your employees, manage your costs, and for sure you have to manage your workforce. It's human assets for business continuity.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, when people are looking for a job, I guess most people are looking at, okay, can you pay me well? And can you give me some flexibility and autonomy? But now you're like, no, now that's just the basics. Now the new world is the government is not going to take care of our health. I mean, I don't know how to take care of my health as well as I think, but please I need some support, and I need you to also take care of my health. So that kind of becomes a part of your package now. It's like, you got to take care of my health, not just my financials, right?
And it's crazy. And we only work with multinational organizations, mm-hmm. and they have the same issue all over the world. We have some countries. France is a specific country because we have it's a healthcare system which is very powerful and protective, but all over the world, even in Europe, in Africa, Asia, America, it's always the same. The company is really a kind of central piece in managing the health of employees while they are working for the company, but as well outside of that, providing benefits for the family as well. So it's really now part of the package they're offering. And there is this worldwide war for talents, and it's totally part of it.
Yeah.
To offer it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. The health, right? I mean, a lot of people, we had issues like, not just physical health, but, mental health, there's a lot of other stuff that go behind it. And when it comes to the actual, MedTech ecosystem, what does it look like today? I mean, for people, in 2022 after, kind of COVID slowing down, and how's that evolved, or what you've seen kind of from previous years? What are you seeing there?
It's a kind, let's say, of day and night. And we talk about what I really, let's say, manage and understand well, which is the MedTech for organizations, and what my team is dedicated to. What we see is, with all the progress in terms of data security, protection, and all the cloud servers, it's really just a new world. We talk with a lot of companies that have a lot of cash. They are smart companies with smart people on board, but they still have this mindset of, we need IT internally, we have our own servers, run everything in-house, which doesn't work anymore. The switch has already been done for financial products, for leisure products, for everything which is, let's say, around your life, your personal life. But then when it comes to MedTech, it's still the Flintstone era. Like, really go and meet clients, very powerful, with a brand image, everything like very strong. They are strong companies, but they have almost nothing. And when we see the MedTech environments, there is a kind of big niche market here. When it comes to B2C, so consumers, people, there is a lot of solutions, great solutions. When it's purely about clinics, hospitals, a huge, let's say, bunch of excellent solutions. But when it comes to MedTech applied to organizations, it's really like a void. Was saying it's a kind of, there is nothing. And there's been a big breakthrough. Like, in the, let's say, if you take a step back 3 years ago, it was totally different.
So, I mean, okay, what would you say, like, how's, with COVID, I'm not sure that woke up a lot of companies right now. Like, okay, this isn't something we leave on the back burner and just kind of, let everybody else take care of it. It's like, okay, now we have to actually, do something here, because this is going to keep happening. What are you kind of seeing companies do differently?
Now they trust technology. Before, it was a fight, between IT and technology. Even though it seems it can be a kind of continuity and evolution, it's a kind of two worlds, sometimes fighting one against the other. And we now see that the companies, they understood that. They understood technology is trustful. When it's about data protection and security, there are really technologies that work with it. You don't have to have your own servers behind a key, like a kind of safe to make it work. So they trust more. There is, let's say, a better adoption as well of systems and innovations. They look to outsource all these kinds of solutions, because they understood they cannot do it internally, basically.
Makes sense.
And it's really a big shift.
Yeah. Trust is the big thing. I mean, at least that's your foot in the door right now. They're willing to at least listen, right, and give it a shot. So now, now that the trust is there, what are kind of some measurement or tools or instruments that they can use to keep checking the frequency, stats, data on the health of workforce?
This is really interesting. We were just with clients yesterday. The client is located in Aberdeen, the UK, and this client has to manage a fleet of 100 vessels all over the world.
Okay.
And it's a woman in charge of that, and she was telling us, okay, I need to control the health and the activity, the medical activity in all of these 100 ships all over the world. And they have almost nothing. And so we came back, so, okay, don't stress. Let's find a solution, and let's go step by step. And so we, when you go with this basic step-by-step approach, okay, first we need to collect the data. Once we have the data, we can show you the data. You can visualize it from anywhere, at any time, very easily. And so basically she understood that with a good tool to collect on each of these 100 locations, she would be able later on to make it work, to have it like easily connected with each and everyone. And so now they can check almost everything. They can check how many events occur, what kind of events, in terms of sickness, what kind of population. Then you have, all these analytics you can go through and then really target some populations to understand who is the population to be really impacted. The 25, 35, men, women, this kind of job, everything. It's really crazy the kind of stuff you can do. So you just need to.
What are you guys using to collect the data? I mean, once you go there, a company comes to you say, "Hey, I want to start implementing this, healthcare service. How do I best kind of start leveraging technology? Like, am I giving them like a smartwatch and tracking all that data across, or what are these tools? Or is it just kind of manually inputted and put into a server, and that data is tracked to the main headquarters?"
Yeah. As of today, the first step of my team, if we take a step back, we are connecting like two populations.
Okay.
The medical staff, if we keep to the same example, which are on the same locations, like the ships, and then all the managers. In this case, it can be this woman who is not a medical doctor, so she cannot access the medical data, and she is like thousands of miles away from the site activity.
Okay.
So how do they do finally, as we're telling you, and this is like true story, it's kind of Flintstones. So sometimes they have software to manage the medical center they're working in on the location, but sometimes it's just paper, like they used to do like 20 years ago. So the first step is, okay, we will not collect all of the data we may collect. So no smartwatch, no base activity and so on. Just start with a log of all your activity. So as soon as a medic, a nurse, a medical doctor is doing a consultation, they will log it. With the data and the structuration, it will give you some information. And from that, then we'll go deeper and deeper according to your needs. Because we just need to take care as well, not to fall on the opposite. Because when they have too many data, they don't know what to do with it. And so they are totally stuck, they're overwhelmed with a kind of tsunami of data coming in. The first step is really about, okay, let's equip all of your sites. The products, the solutions are different always, but it's all about tracking the activity of a clinic, the medical checkup of an individual, to take maybe 10 parameters. It can be, the cholesterol, body mass index, habits. Like, you can start like this and then we'll go deeper. But it's really a step-by-step approach. We need to come and help this niche coming from the Flintstone era and step-by-step to modernity.
And how are employees kind of taking that, in terms of you taking their data, right? There's kind of a privacy, security kind of maybe pushback, right? Employees are like, hey, now you're tracking my data, you're collecting all our employees, you're putting it into one place, and who knows what you're doing it. And then some people are like, look, I don't want you to have this information, right? This should be only for my doctor and between me and my doctor, right? And not my employee or my employer.
Yeah, and in fact, this is why this market is very interesting. It's what we're doing as of today. We're just adding a layer of security and data protection to process that were already existing. What do I mean by that? If we keep to the same example, imagine the medic having the consultation. He's taking all the notes on an Excel file, paper, and so on. And at the end of the week, he will send a report to this manager back to the UK. What we're doing is just to be sure the data this medic is logging will be in the medical file, secured and protected, always. So we are not collecting more data than the data that was already collected by the employers, because it's the one to pay the medical staff and the employees themselves, let's say. We're just adding a kind of layer of security, data protection, and intelligence for the good of the employee. And once you explain it this way to the employee, they always go for it. The first reaction is, okay, no, I don't want to share my data. But your data is already shared. It's legal. But when we mean it's shared all by and with medical doctors. And so they have the right to access this kind of data. Or it's shared in kinds of macro analysis. So this macro analysis is, we'll have an estimate, we have 2,000 people on this location. We can understand some trends. You have numbers, but you have no way to understand who is behind the numbers. That's totally impossible.
Yeah.
And so they go for it. That's why when we talk about predictive analysis, it's always for the good of the company and the employees.
Makes
always.
sense. Yeah. You're not saying we're going to start tracking your data. It's like we've been already doing this. Now we're just taking it from paste and paper. It's like now we're just going to have it more secure, have it in one spot and more centralized, so that you don't have to worry about it. And more efficient for us. That makes sense. What are some other maybe challenges from companies that you see, or the biggest ones in today's time, that in terms of managing the workforce health, especially worldwide, right? When you have people from all over the world, different situation, different, it's just so totally different, right? When whether you're in the UK or your team is in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, it's always different, but at the end, as the units of comparison is the employee, it's always the same. So you're always trying to maximize your workforce health, so to have the best health possible for each of your employees.
Okay.
The only difference, and this is the complexity of it, is that you manage a lot of people on a lot of different sites. So this is your complexity as a company. You need to make sure you apply the same rules, you have the same data to understand the impacts for all of your populations, whether they are on the Philippines or back in Europe, always. So they have this challenge because companies at first, they were thinking, okay, we need maybe first to take care of our expatriates. We have to take care of the people with, let's say, the biggest salaries. But finally, they understand that the risk in terms of business continuity, of brand reputation, it's everyone. And even more as of today, with all the social media, you have one failure, you can be like in the dust for years and years. And sometimes it's good because it's forcing companies to take care of everyone. So the challenge is this one, is they have to change from they were doing something up to they have to do something good, but for a very large population. Take care of many people, different languages, different cultures, different ages, everything. So it's a nice mess, I'd say. Because you have to take care, and this is the good of technology. We can adapt, and be in any language very easily. So we talk with people all over the world in maybe 15 languages, so which is kind of nice as well. And part of this complexity for companies, they have to go through it. They don't know how to do it. So we try to help them, get step by step. This is what you have to do to get this holistic approach where you have the data for all of your staff.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it's no longer just, using technology to solve it, but it's like technology plus empathy. And it's not just by seniority or how much they pay or these. It's like we are humans. We're all equal, and like we need to be taken care of the same, regardless of where you are, where what your job role is, right? And that's what we try to work with. Makes sense.
And they're very smart in this. Let's say companies now they're back from this idea of, okay, let's go for the senior ones or the biggest wages. But it's more, okay, where is my risk? It's all about risk management. My risk is in this country. It's in this kind of activity. And so when we see the prospects, actually the way they want to roll out the project is quite good. They say, okay, first we'll focus on the biggest risk. We have analyzed for the company, and then we go for other ones up to, let's say, the headquarters sometimes, where there is very low risk for the employees and then for the company.
Makes
sense. They have this smart approach.
Yeah. And it's good. I'm glad to see that, they're kind of waking up, they're seeing that, and, they're able to look at it in that way, right? I mean, if they're frontline workers and they're, facing risk day to day, whether it's their bodies on the line, they have to give them, versus sitting in an office, you're probably, less likely to hurt your, and get fired, burnt or whatever, right? Yeah.
No, and this is the good, it is kind of loops where you're adding value every time, and the more you do some iterations, the more you add value.
Exactly.
Because they know that they will take care of the riskiest part of the company. So they are the risking part of the company, which is good for the business continuity. They're taking care of their employees, which is very good for the employees, plus the brand reputation, which is, as a consequence, a reduction in all the incidents, which has a very big benefit on the insurance costs. So it's always, adding some value. And so the more they see the value being added on that, the more they're expanding and rolling out the project in other settings, in other countries, industries, and so on.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. This has been good, Benjamin. I think super helpful. I think a lot of insights for our audience. If they were somebody looking to get in this space, I think, as a SaaS founder, they want to get into the MedTech. I think there's lots of opportunities. Like you said, it's the Flintstone era in this world. Any other opportunities that you see you'd like to share, and inefficiencies that maybe somebody should tackle in this time of age?
Well, there are so many.
Yeah.
to be honest, like it's a market which is very huge, with a lot of its places to be taken. Mm-hmm. The good point is MedTech is sometimes seen as something very complex to penetrate, which is complex.
Yeah.
But in its way, you don't have to go for the next big idea. You don't have to be the next, Facebook or Amazon and so on. You can already bring so many, let's say, improvements by focusing on one vertical, which is what we're saying. And so sometimes we have meetings internally at MyC with a kind of debate. Okay, guys, we don't go in this direction. We know there is a market, but there is a bigger market in that direction. So we know we could almost create some spin-offs. So let's hope like within 2 years we'll be a bigger company with more cash, the way to invest, and so we can go on the different verticals. But every week we have called to prospects, and once they start to understand the deepness and the benefits of bringing, they're opening all the books. And so just to give you one example, we are starting to work with a company in Denmark.
Okay.
They have 10 oil rigs over the coast of Denmark. So let's start with case management. Case management basically is you have someone out of the office for any reason and just want to follow the case. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of technology you can follow, you can communicate between medical doctors, you can put notes, you can exchange some medical data, always in a secure way. We started to work with them, and then it also we have another issue. We're thinking, okay, they want medical data, they want some extract. They say, no, we need to control our pharmacy stock. The pharmacy stock, the inventory is very complex for us because we are inland. All the rigs are, by definition, offland. We have to control the stock. We need to be sure we don't reach any expiring dates because otherwise the drugs are without effect, or let's say with less effects. We need to control the stock. We need to control the cost because it's a big cost. It's okay. There is brand new markets. And so we started to call again some other prospects. And what about your pharmacy management? It's a big headache. And then they start to show you some Excel files. Excel files with I don't know how many sheets. So I want to do it this way to create the macros. Okay. So there is a market there. So this one we are taking this market. Yeah. Because it's really one we are plugging into our solution.
Sure.
But we have like other similar approaches from prospects. Okay. We love to do it maybe in a few years, but as of today, we focus on this vertical.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's a good idea, right? Just kind of going to them, ask them what are these struggles that they face that they're doing in Excel or manually, and see how by putting some automation in there and bringing it from a little bit more sophistication, how much efficiency they'll get and how much their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Benjamin, I want to shift gears. At this part of the podcast, talk more of the personal rapid fire questions. So, are you ready for that?
Nice. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. What's one activity you enjoy doing outside of work that gets you into flow state?
No hesitation. Outdoor activities. Always. Trail running, mountain bike, as more as I can.
Okay.
I have the luxury to live really like 50 meters from the forest. Anytime I can, or during lunchtime or after office, I go for it. It can be just a 30 minutes run. Mm-hmm. But the moment I go in the forest, I start running, I start my bike, it's just another world. I just forget everything else. I go in another dimension. And then I come back, always the same, with all my head, shaken. So, okay, I've been struggling all day long for making a decision, but this is a decision. It's crystal clear.
It's clear now.
It's just taking everything out and finally bringing back to the reality. Okay, this is what you should do.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
It really works. Yeah.
The power of getting into flow state. Yeah.
Yeah, always.
What's one piece of advice you wish you had known, and if you can go back, would tell your 25-year-old self today?
I guess it would be more about trust. Kind of trust yourself and do it. Finally, and it was very, in my interpretation, connected to the question about the MedTech and where can we penetrate the MedTech. It's a lot about common sense. And usually when you're well-brained, when you try to listen to others and to learn constantly, your inner feelings are good.
Your gut.
So sometimes, when I was 25, I was like, okay, I'm young. 25, I was starting I just landed in Jakarta, in Indonesia. And it was like, okay, I had thousands of ideas, but I was like, I miss experience. I didn't do that. I don't have any gray hair yet. But finally, with a bit of feedback and step backs, I should have done it. Sometimes I did it, it worked, but it's a kind of, you think it's a risk. No, trust yourself, do it.
Just do it. Don't be scared. Yeah.
Yeah. If you fall, yeah.
Who cares?
You just go up.
Exactly.
And move forward.
Exactly. Love it. What are the biggest challenges you're currently facing in order to continue to grow, MyC? And meaning, what keeps you up at night these days?
Wow, a lot of stuff. First, my kids, they don't sleep. They're the first one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they're the first one. And the second one about MyC, it's all about my people, my staff. We really look to have very good talents at MyC. We are lucky to have very skilled people. And my question is always about that. Do we have the right people on board? Are they on the right seats? And am I dedicating enough quality time to drive them, to help them, to give them the power to do what they have to do? So it's all about my staff. Is it a good one? What can I change? And we know with technology, it goes very fast in the evolution. So it's a permanent question. And yeah, when I'm up at night and so my kids, it's for that.
It's the people, it's the kids or the other kids, right? You got two different sets of kids. Yeah. Who or what are the best three resources? They can be books, people, mentors, or people you follow in the space who you'd say have been the most instrumental to your success over these last few years.
The first one was definitely a book. It was what's the title? The 4-Hour Work Week from Tim Ferriss. This one was great. I think the guy is crazy.
Yeah, I love him.
The book was very nice to read, very well written. But when I put myself in issues, I want to help what it's doing. But I'm afraid it's just not my stuff. But when I had a look at that, and okay, you can pick everything you want from that. There were two stuff that really changed my life in terms of, let's say, entrepreneurship. The first one was his definition of financial freedom. So your target is not to be rich. It's to be, let's say, rich enough for your level and your aspirations. Exactly. And he was making some demonstrations of finally you don't need to have like 20 millions or something crazy like that. With let's say, below than that, you can have a good life and be more than happy. So this one really kind of enlightening something. And this one was, the guy is crazy about risk. And so he's cutting everything in small pieces, as small as he can, and he's like de-risking everything. And this was a kind of a breakthrough as well for me. So but if you look at when I was in 2014 back in Jakarta in Indonesia, I was out for the next move. I didn't know yet what was the next move. I wanted all to go back to France and start my company, or let's keep traveling and work in Rio de Janeiro, or in Hong Kong, or in some crazy place to go partying, discover the world, and so on. But it was like A or B. And the guy was taking always, this in a different way. He was like, no, but put your destination, then you just create the path toward it. And all the risks, you can see, just cut it in small pieces. And so I've been cutting the pieces, de-risking, let's say, the experience. And so I said, no, I don't want A or B, I want A and B. That's what I did. Then I took a flight to Argentina. I kept living abroad and starting companies. So I was mixing it. And I guess this book really changed my life for that. Another one, I guess I Yeah, I still have it here. I don't know the English for this one. It's a book from the Netflix founder.
Oh, right.
Reed Hastings. Yeah, it's about Netflix culture of reinventing themselves always. Mm-hmm. This book is brilliant, and what I love in the book, it's a lot of common sense. And on the common sense,
no rules. That's the one, right?
Okay, it's the exact same in French, but in French.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They didn't go too far.
Yeah.
And this one is perfect because it's a lot of common sense and some very strong, let's say, culture you can input into your company and how you have to stick with it. Mm-hmm. And this guy, Reed Hastings, is a lot about transparency in having a lot of very skilled people on board, which can be frightening at first because you want to have very good people on board. But when you start fundraising, you have a limited budget. So you say, okay, I take 10 excellent people, I can go for 20 or 15 average. And so it's just destroying the model. So no, it's a no-brainer. You go for the 10 excellent. And they will deliver way more out of the 15 or 20 average people.
100%. Yeah.
And this is crazy because this is the mindset we have at MyC from the beginning. But it was a kind of gut feeling almost. Okay, I believe we have to do it this way. And we've been doing it this way. And this book, it's all about it's maybe 300 pages. The writing is perfect. And it's just a kind of validation of, okay, you need to do that and that and that. A lot of common sense, a lot of success. You see the guy is very smart as well. Mm-hmm. And so he's spending some days with just doing nothing, no decision to be made because everything has been delegated. So yeah, it's funny. It's a crazy one as well. And I would say I don't have a third one at the moment.
No problem.
But these two are crazy good.
Cool. Yeah, fantastic books. Yeah, No Rules and The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Benjamin, what does success mean to you today? Whether that's personally, business, financially, life? I guess there's no right answer. How do you define it?
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I would say it's all about freedom. And, let's say the freedom of being, let's say, the designer of my life. Mm-hmm. Be able to say, I want to work in this industry. I want to live in this place. I want to do this, and I don't want to do that. To have this freedom, to be lucky enough as well to understand I have the freedom. For me, it's all about that. It's all about saying I wanted to live abroad. I had the chance to live in Indonesia, in Argentina for more than 8 years. Mm-hmm. I wanted to come back to Europe. I came back to Paris. I wanted to create a company. I did it. So it's a kind of spinning wheel always. But once you take this freedom of, okay, I can design my life. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And when you still can do it, I guess both personally or professionally, I will fight a lot to keep this. It's for me really, really luxury to be able to design my life and make my own decisions.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah. Success is all about freedom. That's right. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Benjamin. It's been fantastic. Really enjoyed chatting with you, learning about what you guys are doing. You guys are doing great stuff, and rooting for you. Where can people listening in, founders or anybody in the SaaS space, if you want to get in touch with you, learn more about you and MyC?
I guess LinkedIn is the best one.
Okay.
I'm quite reachable, quite connected as well. Kind of addicts.
Okay.
So it's a good way, yeah.
Okay, awesome. We'll add your LinkedIn profile down to our show notes. If anybody wants to reach out, say hi to Benjamin. And appreciate you joining on SaaS District Show today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks a lot, Akil.
All right, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.